Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shades. It's Monday. It's a Mugshot Monday. And I am fresh off of a flight to Oxford, Mississippi. Keisha is fresh off of a trip to Dripping Springs. And Keisha was also on Kimberly and Katie's A Date with K&K about Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I need to know about the bug situation at Dripping Springs.
Didn't see one.
Oh, so glad. That listener wrote in and was like, it's scorpion season in Dripping Springs. I was like, no.
I was like, oh my God. It's so pretty out there. It's beautiful. I recommend anyone go. It's such a sweet town. Do not be afraid because you everybody is palm colored. Okay. Everybody is palm colored.
It's a white town with bugs. What could go wrong?
It's a very white town. I think I saw 2 other Black people the whole time we were there. And but it's beautiful. Their people are so nice. Like,
okay, good.
It's the wedding capital of Texas.
Really?
It's gorgeous. We saw deer, we saw foxes. It was a really, really sweet town. Like, the people were so amazingly nice. We ate well. I gained 5 pounds.
Okay, good.
That's not cute.
That's the sign of a good trip. Yeah.
We ate well. We drank well. And we had a really, really good time. We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was concerned about that snakes and scorpions DM that we got. I was like, oh, no. Keisha's not built for that.
Well, I'll tell you what. We were driving and there was like a big bug in the road when we were driving. And I said, oh my God, is that a scorpion? And Jace was like, it's not a scorpion. He goes, it's some bug. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. But other than that.
If you could see a big bug from the inside of your car.
That's a big bug.
On the road. That's a big bug.
That's a pretty damn big bug. I'm like, if I see this by where we're staying at, we got a problem. But
we're leaving.
Nothing.
We're leaving. Yeah.
It was nice.
Did you have to climb up the treehouse on like a ladder?
No, it's literally just a house that's up.
Okay. It's just like in the trees. Yeah.
Yeah. But I damn near fell down those stairs multiple times. But I might as well have been climbing a damn tree. Yeah. But it was really, really, there was nothing there. The first night, it was a little bit eerie. I was like, nothing. You don't hear anything. No one else was staying in the other 2 houses. I'm like,
could you watch TV?
You know what? I watched Lalu. And then I got on TikTok. And then at some point, I fell asleep. But I was just like, if he really wants to do something to me, there's not a goddamn thing I can do. There's no one here to save me. Like, there's so many places he could bury me back there. No one would find me. I'm like, I might need to be on my best behavior this entire trip. But once you get into the town, it's so cute.
Okay, well, I've written it down so I can like just do a little research on it.
It's so cute. Okay. You would love it.
Yeah. And the wedding capital. I love a wedding capital. That means it's got to have all sorts of cute venues and spaces. And
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, guys.
Love it.
How was your trip? For Keisha. My trip was good. We just flew into Memphis and then spent the weekend in Oxford seeing my son at Ole Miss and had a couple of parents events. Saw some people. I didn't care if I saw them or not. Had some nice meals.
Of course.
Did 3 loads of laundry for John.
Oh,
yeah. And we had a family business meeting where we sat down to like map out. Like, I was like, when are we picking you up from college? And I don't know. When's your last exam?
For the summer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
When are you going back? I don't know. Do you have a parking pass for next year? Oh, I don't know how to get one. I mean, it was just a lot of, I don't know. So
he's still a teenage boy.
We had to make a list and like, let's check these things off the list. Like he hasn't had new tennis shoes, like athletic shoes, really since like 12th grade. His shoes look like worse than somebody that lives down in a van down by the river. I mean,
not a van by the river.
I was like, your shoes, you should be embarrassed to be walking around.
Why didn't he go buy new shoes?
I don't know. I was like, you could Amazon new shoes at any time. I suppose I don't care. And he's just like, I don't know. So I ordered him some new tennis shoes. And so I got to keep more on top of that because he's just gross. He didn't care.
Oh, that freshman year away from mom. I bet he's pretty,
pretty nasty. He has a new girlfriend. I met her.
Okay.
And,
all right.
She's very cute and very nice.
Okay.
And that was fun.
Okay.
And I told Dave, I said, she looks like somebody Do you know what I mean? But I don't know if it's somebody that I know or don't know, or it's somebody in one of these shows, or somebody like that's on TV, or it's a person known to me. It'll come. It might be like 2 months or 3 years, but it will come to me. Do you know how you just see somebody and you're like, I know.
I've seen this. They look like someone I just don't know from what aspect of my life. Yes, totally. Yeah.
Yes. But she's very cute and very nice. And it bugs. Yeah. And that's that. So that's what's happening. And we're recording at night. Yeah. So if you're watching, it's just going to get darker and darker by that window. Yeah. Some people do.
We're doing it. We're doing the Lord's work.
Okay. And so, guys, next week we'll be on the same schedule. And then the week after, we're going to have some bunky takeovers. And it's going to be, I believe, Kimberly will be with Keisha. Keisha will be with Kimberly for Lalu. And then I believe Kimberly will be with Matt for 90 Day. Same thing I did last time, like in January. Okay. I told Kimberly she was in charge of getting with you and getting with Matt and figuring out when, how, et cetera, et cetera.
We got this.
Okay. And also, Keisha, I requested for you to get screeners for Lalu. Okay. Did you get them?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. All right.
I will check my email.
Okay. We'll just double check that because I want to make sure you're on the schedule because you got them before and then they changed their system and then you didn't get them and I need to make sure you're getting them.
Okay. I will check as soon as we're done.
Okay. All right. That's the business end of our business things. Now, I would like to tell you that these notes I took them over like a couple of days and I was watching like 20 minutes at a time. So these notes are going to seem probably a little disjointed, but I'm going to leave it up to you to keep me on track.
I will do my absolute best because I was watching it kind of like you were.
Yes. Just like here and there. Yeah.
Here and there. Then I would have it on and I'd go to the bathroom. I hear James laughing like, why the fuck are you watching my show?
Right.
Without me and laughing.
Now you got to rewind.
Yeah. Now I'm like, what? So, okay. We got this.
Every time I logged back into the screener, it would like kick me back to the beginning and have to forward and like, did I see that? I can't remember if I saw that. Yeah. And I did a lot of writing words down phonetically because I don't know how to spell Joella. I just know it's Joella.
Well, only she and her parents know how you spell that name because it's like I hate to say a made up name because every name is technically made up.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But this is just not a traditional name I've never met another Joella.
Well, on 90 Day Fiancé right now, we have a girl named Ani, but it's spelled Any, A-N-Y, like any day of the week.
I've seen that. I don't know if it was a character in a book or something like that, but I've seen that before.
But it's Ani, A-N-Y. Right. And so I just write it A-H-N-E-E so that I'll say Ani.
So you say it right whenever you're reading your notes.
Yeah, because otherwise I was going, what's her name? Her name is Any. What's her name? Yeah. So we've got that here. But we're going to start. So this is season 6, episode 4, Reckless Entanglements. And we're going to start with Will and Courtney. So many E's on Courtney. Now, once we get into Courtney and we get her in her first talking head, did you notice the scar across her forehead?
Immediately.
And we're not going to know.
Was it a scar? Was it a vein?
It was.
What was that?
It looked like it went like this, like under this eyebrow and across.
So, like at one point, I could see it very, very well, and then I can't see it a little bit. That's why I was like, "Is it a vein? Is it popping in and out? Is it what is this?"
Because were you watching it on like a computer on a small screen, like an iPad?
No, I was watching
it
on a TV, but I was just like, I couldn't tell what it was.
So I was watching it on my iPad, which is not big. So sometimes you don't. So then I was like, well, maybe it's like a wayward hair. But then she had on like a different outfit. It was still there.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to find out who stabbed her in the head?
Like, to me, if there's something noticeable going on with me, I'm going to tell it to you before you have a chance to guess what it is.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm on TV.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I know I got this vein or I got busted in the head with,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. It's like Julius. He might tell us like why he's got those tattoos on his face. He might.
He doesn't know, Mary.
Maybe that's probably true.
That's a wasted question.
You're right. All right. So Will and Courtney, it's one day until the release. And we open with him where we left off with him, which is showing the mom, whose name is Susie, the ring. And mom goes, wow, interesting. Don't you think it's a little too soon? And he goes, I fucking adore her. And Talking Head Mom says, growing up with Courtney was rough. She was a straight A student, but she had a curiosity problem. She left when she was 16.
That's a good way of putting it.
I was like, a curiosity problem.
Okay.
She left when she was 16 and she hung out with the wrong people and made bad decisions. And he's telling you, don't worry. I want to love Courtney. I want to take care of her. And Mom goes, okay, well, that's nice to hear. Great.
Good luck.
They go to their rooms because he's like, should we go to the room? I mean, separate rooms.
Will, oh man, I had high hopes for him, but he failed us. At least he failed us in episode 2.
He, somebody wrote me and says he's giving them Colt of like Colty and Larissa.
I saw that too.
Yeah. And I was like, I was like, that's a good call. So they go to their room. So he's showing us his luggage. We'd seen it before, but now he's pulling things out and he goes, oh, wow, here's a note that says TSA checked my luggage. I wonder if they saw this butt plug. What? What? Why do you need a butt plug?
Why do you have a butt plug? Like, why do you? Okay. Never mind. You have a butt plug. Why do you have to let us know you have a butt plug?
Then he shows us.
Who would have ever known?
Yeah, he shows us some shibari ropes. These are Japanese soft ropes for like BDSM. And he says, I think it'll be fun to bond with Courtney over something new in the bedroom that we've never tried. And then he gets out like this vibrator. He's like, this is a good one. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to like tie her up and we're going to make use of this surface, all surfaces. We're going to make use of the couch and you're not going to want to touch anything in here after 2 days.
He was one big, huge ick.
That was gross.
Right now. Like, okay, first of all, why do you think someone who just got out of prison wants to be tied up? I don't care how softly it is. I don't want to be tied up. You know what I mean? I probably also don't want a vibrator that someone else picked out for me who I don't know. I don't want to use that in front of you. I'm okay if we have sex if we have sex, nice missionary.
Yes, let's get to know each other.
That's all I want. Let's get to know each other a little bit. Like this, I was disturbed.
I was like, before you're going to ram something into my butthole, let's just get to know each other. Now, come on.
Yeah.
God.
Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu is the podcast hosted by me, Stacey Keenan.
And me, Christine Lakin.
On Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu, we recap the iconic 90s sitcom and TGIF mainstay step by step.
While I was a fan and watched every episode,
I am watching the show for the very first time.
We are lifelong friends and TV stepsisters.
So join us for a juicy peek behind the scenes as we explore what it was like to come of age in front of the cameras on a hit network TV show.
For sweet 90s nostalgia, breakdowns of classic 90s looks, and plenty of laughs. Let Keenan and Lakin give you deja vu.
On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So in the Talking Head, Courtney's like, it's been 2 years for me for sex. So like, I don't want to like jump into it right away. And I have to imagine they probably have these conversations and she's probably like, okay, yeah, it's just fun conversations. Right. But she probably doesn't think she's good. It's prison talk. She doesn't think she can be held to it like the first night.
Who would? Like, can we have dinner? Can I have some wine? Can I take a bubble bath? Like, there's so many other things you can do that don't include sex. Flirting with one another. Just
they've never seen each other in person.
You don't know how that person smells.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's weird.
It is very weird.
So the next morning, he's like, yeah, I'm nervous. I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep very well, and I don't have a lot of sleep in me. But I'm just like going on adrenaline. And I hope I can.
It was him and that butt plug were up all night. Testing it out, doing a test run.
Keisha. He says, oh, man, I hope I'm going to be able to get her alone right away. And we could snuggle and maybe take a little nap. And that could lead to sex. So, throws the ropes on the bed before he walks out. I wonder if Mom comes to the room later to like, hey, let's just come in here and chat a little bit. And he's got ropes on the bed.
I would be like, Courtney, please don't unpack anything that he bought you in this bag. We roll out. Like, you're coming in with me.
My room has 2 beds.
Yes.
So in the Talking Head, Mom says, the bad side, of her being in prison is I don't get to talk to her very much. But the good side is like, I know that I know where she is and she's safe.
Okay.
Because when she was, growing up, she would disappear for a long time and it was really hard. And mom said she's never been to the prison to see her because it was too expensive to get there. So let's remember that she's in prison in Portland, Oregon, and he lives in
I'm laughing
Sacramento.
because I knew you were going to calculate all this stuff, like the distance. Yeah.
So, but we don't know where mom lives.
No, we don't.
Because he lives in California.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney's in prison in Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Courtney was just like wilding out across state lines or what was going on. So she said it was too expensive to get there. And she was only there a year. So she would have been there like, so she's only, but when they meet up, she says they haven't seen each other in 3 years. And
it was kind of a cold, it wasn't, yay, I missed you so much, mom, kind of embrace.
I mean, Courtney's only 24. So I think she has been in and out from 16 to 21, like seeing her mom and stuff, probably just coming home when she needed money, Right. So Will's like, oh, I'm so stoked, like I wasn't nervous, but now I'm like a big ball of nerves. And they're like, oh, it's cold out here. And mom's like, oh, I just can't wait to see her and hug her. And then we see some dude walk up and they're like, oh, is that somebody from the prison? I was like, I hope not. In like a broke down Honda Civic. I hope not. It's a guy named Danny. He knows her from AA. He's her sponsor. Okay. We find out her drugs of choice were meth and coke. Danny says he's been sober 27 years and he's just there to like help her stay on the straight and narrow. Talking Head Will says, I understand this, that she needs somebody like this. And, I'm glad Courtney's got somebody on her side like Danny to help her get through this, especially he's like 27 years sober. It's really great. Mm-hmm. Now, so far, I don't see anything weird with Danny. I mean, Danny's been sober 27 years. Courtney's only 24 years old.
Yeah, people were losing their minds online about the whole Danny being her sponsor, the fact that he was male, the fact that he's older, the fact that he was there. Uh-huh. I mean, I thought you could have like a sponsor of the opposite sex.
Yeah, you can. You can do whatever you want. It's just kind of like if you find somebody in meetings and stuff that you really look up to or respect, and it also could be that he is like a volunteer in the prison system and just goes in the prison systems and does AA meetings and was like, I'll be glad to be your sponsor.
Yeah.
Or it could be he's like a boyfriend. I mean, we don't know. I hope that's not the case because that would be real icky.
I just like the fact that there's a big question mark over it.
Yeah. And also that scar on her head. So she comes out and she hugs Will and she kisses him first, which was nice. And the talking head, they're together. She was like, I felt great. I just got out of prison. Like, how else could I feel? And he gives her the flowers and he gives her a purse. And she's like, this is amazing. She goes, this is like a first date. He's like, yeah. And he's like, you said you didn't have a good butt, but you do. And he's like looking at her butt. She's like, stop.
And he's like, I got something for that butt waiting for you in that hotel room. Little do you know.
Oh, Keisha. Maybe it's for him.
It should be for him.
Maybe he wants it.
Yeah, it should. He should not have gotten that for her. Like if he wants that for himself, okay, have a little fun. Let out some aggression.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So she hugs her mom, and mom's like, it feels amazing to see her. It's been like 3 years since they've actually seen each other. And then she hugs Danny and he goes, look, I got meetings ready for you to go to. So, we'll get together and we got this, you got this. And she's like, I know. Thank you so much, Danny.
Now, did you hear him say, hey, babe?
I did. And he's like, whoa, sorry. And he kind of made a joke about it.
What was that? Like,
I don't know if it was like a slip up. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you accidentally say something like that weird. So I'm like, hey, honey, like, I'm sorry. I wasn't talking to my,
Yeah, I guess.
But again, unclear.
We don't know.
Unclear.
That could be her boo.
It could be her boo. And she'd be like, we're trying to take this guy for a ride. So don't be calling me babe. Yeah.
And he would make it super easy for them to take everything that he has.
Yeah, totally. So in the talking head, she says, I ended up in prison for crimes, but I was very deep in addiction. I was making $3,000 to $5,000 a day, by stealing cars and probably taking them to these chop shops. She goes, and identity theft that I would find in the cars. She goes, but it was just to pay for my drug addiction. It was just like, I didn't think anything about it. It was just a way to pay for my drug addiction. And I got sent to prison for 15 months. She says, I was 16 when I first got in trouble and when I first got into drugs and stealing cars. And she goes, I just never thought I'd get in trouble. I never thought it would catch up with me. Only everybody thinks that, I assume.
Exactly.
And she says, Will is the first good guy I've ever dated. Like, he's nerdy, but he's funny and he's super loving. And yeah. I mean, I could definitely see myself spending my whole life with him.
Really?
Really? I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. And talking to Eddie goes, yeah. I'll ask her to marry me. I got to come up with like the right moment, like probably like right before the butt plug, right after the vibrator. Maybe.
It most definitely should be before the butt plug. Establish a couple of things before the butt plug. Then.
Yeah. And she and Will kiss a lot. And it's like, I love you. And so then, we see that and we're like, okay, maybe everything's great. We don't know.
Ain't going to be great.
Keisha. All right, let's move on to Brooklyn and Brian. Brooklyn, you remember, is the cheer and gymnastics coach.
She's annoying to me.
You know what? I gotta agree with you. I find her a little annoying and
she's a little annoying and immature.
And I don't know what all that has to do with like her upbringing, losing her mom, and all that.
Her brother was like clocking shit. Like,
yeah, he seemed normal.
She's like, I'll never get past that room and having it on television.
And not being able to find her house keys that were not attached to her car keys.
Car keys. That is very odd.
So she is talking to Brian on the phone. Remember, because she saw the picture on the tablet. And she's like, who is this girl? Big booty bitch. Who's this girl? Who's this girl? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know who it is. And he goes, you going to be mad about this Instagram ass bitch, this picture that I got? He hangs up on her. He calls her right back. And he's like, you're being weird as hell.
She is. She is.
And he says, I didn't know you were that kind of person. You're going to get mad about like a random picture.
Hold on. Wait a minute. This girl stalked you. What do you mean you didn't know she was going to be weird? She followed you from class to class to class to make sure you had her kiss mark on your face.
That's a good point.
She's a little weird.
That was a good point.
Brian.
So the talking head, she's like, I'm so mad. Like, I am tweaking out. I am so mad. And she goes, now, prior to going into labor with my daughter, what? We did not know you had a daughter.
No, we did not. And how does her room look? Is she the responsible person in the house? She do the cleaning? Like, I was like, wait, we didn't hear about a kid. This makes it worse that she's got a kid.
Where is the kid?
Probably lives with the uncle.
Oh my God. So she goes, this is just like, it makes no sense. She's like, I'm so mad at him about this picture. Prior to going into labor with my daughter.
Yeah.
My ex's new baby mama messaged me and told me that she and the father of my daughter had a thing going on. And I really thought Brian was different than that. Okay. All right. So I don't know what
stories go together.
What does one thing have to do with the other?
Absolutely nothing.
She thought Brian was different because she has an ex that she had a baby with who, before she had the baby, this other woman called and said, I'm with your man. Because she said, my ex's new baby mama. So I guess the ex was having a baby with this other woman too.
Yeah. And him having a printed photo of someone he doesn't know from Instagram brought her all the way back to that.
Right. Okay.
She's a little bit off.
So then he's on the phone and he goes, listen, I apologize. That picture has been on the back of my player since 2020. I don't even know who that is. He says,
Yeah. I believe him.
And I believe him too. I mean, we'd probably be wrong because we always are. But
yeah.
He says, I love you, but can you just wait until we're fully together for you to be psycho? Which I liked that.
Yeah. I mean, that's true because you ain't got time for a crazy bitch if she ain't really your bitch.
No, he's like she just like waved at him by the roadside. Remember, she didn't even get to see him.
In their kitten heels.
And that they were doing the Lord's work, those heels.
Awful. Yes, they were.
And he says, I'm sorry that affected you. And she's like, you're dumb as hell for that. And he goes, all right. And then they hang up and that's the end of them. And I'm like, all right.
She's dumb as hell for, everyone keeps talking about Kiana's hair. Have you not looked at this girl's wig? It's horrible.
No,
it is like a church lady wig. It is so bad. It is bad. Like, it's just not cute. It's very old fashioned looking. I'm just like, everyone keeps focusing on Kiana and her lace. We get it. This bitch's wig looks synthetic. It doesn't even look like real hair. I
got to study it next week. I'll have to study it because I haven't been studying it like I should, obviously.
Okay. Well, you text me.
Falling down on my job. All right. Brooke and JK. Okay. Listen, JK is purposely holding those lips together so we can't see what's going on behind there.
Absolutely. 100%. As he should. Thank you for doing us all a favor and we don't have to see it. Because it looks black in there.
You're right. I should be grateful. I shouldn't complain. You're right. I should just be, you're right.
He's doing us all a favor. I appreciate that.
That's right.
Thank you, JK.
Thank you. So it's 4 hours out of prison and they get to his mom's house. Now, mom's name is Kathy, remember. Marla, Kathy's roommate, says, hey, how you doing? But then we see Kathy's husband, David. So Kathy and her husband, David, JK's stepdad, live together, but they've got a roommate named Marla.
I didn't understand that. First, I thought, okay, Kathy and Marla are sharing house, two single ladies of a certain age, splitting the bills.
Yeah.
But then the dad came in and I was like, well, what the fuck? And then I'm thinking, like, is this not a 3-bedroom home? Is this really a 2-bedroom home? I was confused.
It looks like just a regular ranch style house on any street that would be 3-bedroom, 2
3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me.
And then I was kind of thinking, why didn't they convert the garage into like a bedroom for JK?
I thought that too, because when they came in through the garage, I was like, well, there's all that space they could have used.
They don't want them there.
Well, and maybe they don't have the money. I don't know. So
that's true.
They go to Kathy's house. We meet David, the stepdad. And as JK gets out of the car, stepdad goes, come here, stupid. How you doing, homie? What?
Yeah, I didn't like that he called him stupid.
And I don't know if like that's their banter, but like, I'm so happy to see you. Let me give you a big hug.
Stupid. Like, give him a hug first. He says, call him stupid.
Come here, stupid. Come here, homie. How you doing? And so they go in the house. And when they go in, they sit down like at the breakfast table. Did you notice the 400 bags of potato chips behind them?
No, but
my God.
It doesn't look like they're eating celery sticks and, water crackers in that house, Mary Beth. I mean, come on.
Water crackers. You don't think they're doing a carrot stick hummus snack?
Not at all. I don't think they have ever heard of hummus before. So,
oh my gosh, you're so funny. So yeah, it was just like piled up on a table, but just probably 20 bags of chips, all different kinds. Okay,
that is funny.
Yeah, a lot of chips. So the chips are there, and so in the talking head, JK says, I was rough on David growing up. I mean, he was rough on his stepdad. I was hard. I was a hard kid, but the truth is David has always been there for me. And I love him for that. Cause his dad wasn't around. So now they're discussing the ankle monitor. He has to be on the ankle monitor for 60 days. So that's not too bad. It's 2 months in the house. So they test it out and they're joking around. They're like doing like a bullhorn to make him think.
So funny because he was trying to get in the house so fast. That was funny.
He was like, can I go to the edge of the yard? So tell me when I get to the edge of the yard, because I have to assume that thing would be like, beep.
Right.
Like, scared
and he fell for it. Shit, I thought it was real at first. I'm like, oh shit.
I too. I was like, oh, yeah, no, he did that. I didn't know he did that. Yeah, I just thought it called you to say like you're off, funny. So he says, yeah, you like this couch? This is going to be my room for the next 2 months. I'm going to be sleeping on this couch. And mom and Marla and stepdad are sitting at the table. And mom says, there's a change of plans. Marla has graciously offered her room to y'all, to which I wrote, is this a 2-bedroom house?
I think it is.
Or do mom and stepdad, they've just been old and been together so long, they each have their own room?
Maybe.
So we don't get much information about Marla. Why is she there? What's going on? But we go and see her room. And I'm like, are we in a nursing home? It was.
That was, I could smell it. Like if you've ever been inside of a nursing home, when you saw her room, you instantly it was like a scratch and sniff sticker.
Oh, Keisha.
Oh God. All I could do is smell nursing home. I'm like, oh, I was repulsed. And I feel bad because she's not a nursing home lady.
No.
Like it just was everything in her room you would find in
it was. So the bed was unmade. It had a bed rail so she won't fall out. There's a wheelchair. There was a potty chair. There was like sanitizing wipes. There was a CPAP machine.
Yeah.
The CPAP machine was the least of your concerns.
Yeah. Everything else was horrible.
But Marla was like out in the front yard greeting them and stuff. It wasn't like she needed those things. I just wonder if, like, since the three of them are a little bit older, if all three of them at some point have had some sort of surgery or something. So they just store that in Marla's room.
Yeah, well, I'm going to need us to store it in the garage, not in my room, because this is not giving. Look, Marla is a 60-year-old woman in the living room and a 98-year-old man in her room.
She's like, I can't make it to the bathroom. I got to get on this potty chair.
It was, I would not want to have sex there at all.
Me either. So she's like, we can't have alone time in here. Like, what? This is gross. Look at everything in here is like that would be in a hospital. And he's like, what? Don't talk to me like that. Like they're both like, don't talk to me like that. So she like gets on top of him on the bed. She's like, this bed rail is like in the way of my leg. It was comical.
It was very funny.
And
it was funny and gross all at the same time. It's just like, they're really about to do it. They are going to do it.
She's like, your mom and them are like right in there. But it was
perhaps listening because they're all way too invested in his sex life.
They're way too much discussion going on.
Way too much.
I mean, Marla didn't even make up the bed for him or take that bed rail off or anything. So
that's what made it so gross.
So then they agree that they'll do it because he's like, I've waited all this time and I got to wait all this time and now you won't even like do it. And she's like, okay.
I'll be like, bitch, you're going to be waiting if this is the only place that, like, I'd rather go out in the garage or the backyard. Like, this is not it.
Anything.
Yeah. So in the middle of the day, while everyone's up, they're doing this.
They're out in the kitchen eating those chips. So, all right. So then it's the next day they wake up. So I guess she's like spent the night there in that hospital bed.
No.
And they talk about the sex. They said it was really great. She was like, yeah, it was great. It's 10 out of 10. And we are seeing now, because he's shirtless now in the morning.
Girl.
He has George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Ben Franklin all over his chest.
Yeah. And I'm willing to bet he doesn't know who those people are.
He's like, I know that one's on a 5, that one's on a 1, and that one's on 100.
I don't know why this particular president is important. I don't know. He doesn't know that George Washington was the first president. He knows nothing. Mm-mm. He saw Abraham Lincoln and said, Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter, give me that tattoo right there.
Or it was like a guy in prison was like, I'm trying to practice. Will you let me practice these portraits on you? And he was like, all right.
I was like, bitch, you better get you a pencil and piece of paper before you start inking on my body. Practice on me.
He doesn't care. So she says the sex was worth the wait. And then in the talking test, he says it was great. It was really great. I put my tongue to work.
Oh.
Ooh. Coming out of that mouth hole. Ooh.
God. She needed a salt and vinegar bath after that. That is just, because that mouth, even though we haven't seen it all the way open, it is a lot of decay because it's black. From what we can see, it's black.
It's a problem.
It's not that the teeth are even gone. They're still trying to hang. It's.
We don't know. I don't know what's hanging on in there by a thread. Literally, I don't know.
All of them.
Oh. So at the breakfast table now, next morning, Mom's like, "How was your night?" And they're like, "It was good." And Mom says to JK, "Did you use my gift?" And then we flash back to the night before she came in there, laid on that medical bed, and gave him a bunch of condoms. So he's like, I don't know. No, I don't know. All right.
The medical bed.
Whatever the hell it was.
No, that's exactly what it is.
It had one of those levers on the side where you could lift the patient up to help him get out and boom, pop him out the front.
Yeah.
So poor Marla. Where did Marla sleep? She go sleep on the couch? Poor Marla. Did she drag her potty chair into the den with her? I don't know.
She was really excited about it because she was giving him the thumbs up and everything. Yeah. Like that was like the most action that house has clearly seen
in a long time.
Yeah.
So he says, his plans for the day, he's got to go see his parole officer, and then he wants to go see his grandma. And she's like, you got to make sure you're home on time. He's got to make sure he's in the house at 5 or whatever. So in the car, he's like on the phone kind of constantly. And Brooke is like,
as they always are.
Oh, well, yeah, always. The only one that didn't was Bradley, who had the sense to say, I know I'm going to get overwhelmed, so I can't look at it.
Yeah, we don't hear that often at all.
Mm-mm. So she says, who are you talking to on your phone? And he goes, you want to look at it? You want to go through you want to look at the phone? She's like, I'm literally just asking you. And in the talking head, she says, I suspect he's talking to Alex. And you know what? He hasn't called my kids. He knows that they have phones. He hadn't asked for their phone numbers. Well, maybe he's wondering, where are the children? Am I going to be seeing them since they are your children? I assume they're going to be around.
Or he could be thinking, those aren't my kids. So I don't give a fuck about talking. Like, I'll meet them when I meet them,
But don't forget his number one, daddy, protector. What else was it? Husband, king. Daddy, protector, king. King.
Yeah, all those lies.
King. So he's like, all right, we could talk about this after the parole meeting. So he goes into the meeting and she's sitting in the car, vaping. And he's gone for an hour. And then he doesn't come out. And then he's not answering his texts. And then it's 2 hours. And she's like, I don't know. And he could go in there and they could arrest him or something. I don't know what it would be, but I don't know why it would take so long. So then his mom calls. It was like, what are they done with my baby? You got to go in there and get my baby.
I do respect the fact that she said, please, can you go in there and check on my child? Like to see what's going on.
2 hours.
That's a long time. That's a concerning amount of time.
Yeah. And mom's like, I knew I should have taken him, you dumb bitch.
You so know she was thinking that exact thing right there.
Why let that dumb girl take him? And so that is it. We see her getting out of the car and walking in to go see what's up. Obviously he's out because next week we see the two of them have a big fight. All right, let's move on to Kiana and Demodrick. This is my note, Demodrick. There is no N in Demodrick. This is my note to myself. Quit trying to say Demodrick. I don't know why I got it in my head, but it's not. No N.
But yeah, remember I told you I'm glad you have to say his name because I would mess it up every single time that I said it. What is it, Demodrick?
No, so there's no N. D-A-M-O. Demodrick.
Demodrick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's because I thought the N was there like Damon and then add the Rick, but no, it's Demodrick. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So Kiana says, oh Lord, I'm trying to be his rock, but I'm crumbling. He's been in that halfway house a week. Now, of course, we never got any explanation of what happened and why he had to stay in there and why he couldn't go.
Right.
They just took him. So he's been in this halfway house for a week. And now we see her at work at her pharmacist assistant job. And he calls her and he says, I got an interview at 12. You think you could drive me to this interview? And she goes, of course, I'm going to help you. You got to get this job. So she goes to get him and they kiss like, oh, my baby. They kiss. Yeah. And they talk about the interview. And she's like, what are you going to say? It's like your skills. He's like, I've always had jobs,
Right.
So in talking to Ed, he says, being in there in that halfway house has been really hard. Like, I got to be there. I got to be in there at 5. They never explained to us why they took him.
Right. Right.
We just thought he was getting his ankle monitor. And
that was it.
But then we never got an explanation. He says, and they take my phone at 9 p.m. like I'm a little kid. And
well, you didn't even have a phone in prison at all. So
yeah. And he says,
be happy.
If I don't get this job, like they could send me back. So somewhere in there, we have missed an entire chunk of why they took him, why he went to the halfway house, and his condition of being able to get out of the halfway house, I guess, is to get a job.
Get a job.
So we see him in this interview. It seems like to me, it's an interview for people like him that have come out of prison that could do these jobs. It doesn't seem like he's going to be working like for her.
There, yeah.
Yeah, there at that building. Mm-hmm. And so he says all when he was younger, he worked in warehouses. And she says, well, I have this job I could put you in. It's this place that manufactures concrete or something. It pays $16 an hour. He goes, I'm a fast learner. I've never done that before, but I think I could do it. And she's like, okay, great. He seems to do good in the interview. And they get in the car and like, I hope and pray you get that job. He's like, I get that job. And then I'll, maybe get out of that halfway house. Again,
he needs 5 of those jobs.
He needs, he's got a lot of kids.
For those 6 kids. Because if you get $1, you get $1. Right. You get your $1 next week.
I gotta eat. I gotta eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm talking to Eddie. Says, I have talked to Juela, my baby mama, one of the baby mamas.
She's the one that has the most kids by him.
3. But he says, I've talked to my kids, and we see kids that are 5 and 2, which means that 2-year-old, she was cooking that 2-year-old when he went in because he's only been in for 2 years. Okay. And there's a 2-year-old. But later she says they have 3 kids together.
Yeah. And then remember he said this baby was 4 months when I got locked up.
Right. So I wonder if there was a 4-month-old and she was cooking a baby when he got locked up. So there's a 2-year-old.
God.
So I wonder if there is a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
I don't know, but she needs to stay away from him because when he looks at her, she gets pregnant.
Yeah. They're very fertile.
That's together. A lot. Yeah.
So the producer asked him, do you love Juela? And he says, I am moving on. It's a new beginning. So
that is not the answer that I would want to hear being your girlfriend. That is the kind of answer that would have got you cut a little bit.
Yeah.
If I were your girlfriend.
The producer says that is not what I asked you. It is a yes or no question.
Because it was most definitely a yes or no question, and he failed.
So now Demadrick's brother, Jerry, comes to pick him up. Now, a lot was made about the 3 screwdrivers stuck in the window. And I saw people posting like, what is this? And I was like, oh, I think it's to hold the window up, right? Like when your window falls down all the time, you got to stick a... Well, that window had a real
someone
problem.
With 1.
Me too.
But he had 3. Like, is this an industrial level window right here on this Mustang? Like 3.
That window was all the way messed up. It was like, well, it's going to take 3 screwdrivers. I was like, by the cost of those 3 screwdrivers, you might have got it fixed.
Could have got it fixed.
Anyway, lots of people were talking about that. I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, I knew immediately what that was.
Me too. I'm like, he's trying to keep his shit up.
Yeah, it's probably hot. So Jerry says, you going to go see Juela? And he goes, yeah, I got to see her. I got to keep everything like copacetic with her and cool. And the talking head, he says, look, Juela wants us to be happy family. And no, I will not be telling Kiana that I'm meeting with her. That would be suicide if I told her.
Why? What?
I think you should be able to go and see the woman who has 3 children and talk about how they're going to co-parent, child support.
All the stuff the fact that he did take his brother would have probably made Kiana feel better about the meeting. But now you look stupid because you lied.
That's right. Because now you lied.
So over chicken tenders.
I was trying to see what that food was.
Chicken tenders and fries. I saw.
It was in a basket. I was like, So he meets with her at a restaurant and, hey, Jerry, how you doing? And Jerry goes to sit at another table like he's doing surveillance or something. He's like, I'm just going to be over here eating, but I got my eye on you. I'm like,
Jerry, he's not going to whip out his dick on the table. Like, I think this is a pretty safe environment that you're in right now.
He says he has 3 kids with her. The youngest was 4 months when he went to prison. And he tells her, my dad is having a barbecue, for me coming back home. And I'd love for you to come and bring the kids. But listen, Kiana will be there. Don't tell her that we met up to eat or anything, but she'll be there and everything. And she goes, okay, yeah, I'll come. And Juela goes, is Kiana going to be like cool with us co-parenting? And he goes, she's going to have to be. It is what it is. He's actually real cool about Kiana, but he is in fact afraid of her.
Well, here's the thing is that I don't know if he realizes all the stuff that Juela has been doing on social media, talking about, I can't wait for daddy to get home. And then the
water,
and then the
moisture,
all of that stuff. Like, of course, Kiana's not cool because this is what she's been doing while you've been locked up.
So, I wonder if he knows or he knows the extent of it or he was able to have any social media while he was there to see it, or somebody
well,
told
I'm sure
him.
Kiana told. I'm sure someone told. I mean, but what can he do about it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So in the talking head, she says, yeah, last time I saw him was right before he got arrested. And, he looked good. He looked good. And I've always been, I wonder if like they had sex and then she was pregnant when he was in prison. And she says, I've always
have said that though. Like this baby was born while I was in prison.
She says, I saw him right before he got arrested and he looked good. So, and she says, I've always been attracted to him. And, so maybe I can go to the barbecue and something spicy and just kind of mix it up.
She is going to be trouble.
So he says, listen, and I thought this seemed like a very normal, nice conversation. He says,
it was.
He says, I just want to tell you, like, I'm sorry for all that fighting and stuff before I went in. And she goes, well, you've moved on. But I wish you would have waited a little bit just to kind of see what could have happened with us. And maybe I was hanging on to you a little bit. And he says, I can understand that. And maybe I did cling on to you more than I should have. And, he says, and maybe I just am trying to try something else to be sure this is where I need to be. I was like, oh, if I heard somebody say that.
I'm like, well, here's your shit. You can go over there and do what you need to do.
Then
if you're not sure,
then go on and go. And then I'll help you make that decision. That was not,
which is kind of what they all do. That's what they all do.
Just kind of hedging the bets.
All have options. Like which one, am I gonna like? That's so gross. Like, don't do women like that.
And he says, I do want to be in my relationship with Kiana, but I still care for you, and I want everything with you to be all right. And I don't know, maybe life will swing us back together. But right now, we just need to focus on the kids. I was like, he has said now 3 different things about like we could be together, but right now maybe it's the money.
Like. Maybe it's Kiana. Well, I mean, it's cheaper to keep her, and he does. I mean, they have a lot of kids together, so you know. But I don't like that he's making it seem like Kiana is something to do in between the time.
Yeah, like I'm just biding the time, and she's paying for shit for right now,
right? Because she's really sweet, and she really fucking loves him a lot.
And she's very sweet, and she's got like 2 jobs, and's got her head on straight, and she's got
hardworking.
She's got that nice G-paw stepdad,
and she's been faithful to him. Mm-hmm. Well, loyal, like, I don't know if she's dated other guys or anything, but she's pretty loyal to him for someone who's cheated on her like a bunch of times.
A lot. 6 kids worth. So the talking head, he goes, I love everything about Kiana and I love everything about our relationship. But on the other hand, Juela is the mom of my kids. So it is hard to try and tear away from that. But where are the other baby mamas?
Yeah, they don't want to waste their time with him. They see that he's full of shit, and they're not even giving him the option. That's what it seems like. Juela's the one who's still stuck on stupid about him. Mm-hmm.
I think that, that's
right. We don't know. I mean, we still got several episodes to go.
We could have another baby mama pop out of the woodwork.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the talking head, she goes, no, it will not be hard to get him back. Once he's ready, he's ready. And I just hope Kiana's prepared for that.
That's so fucked up.
But I think she's totally right.
I think so too. Yeah. Don't get pregnant, Kiana. Don't get pregnant by this guy. Please.
Don't get pregnant, Juela. Because
she gonna get pregnant.
That's just a matter of time.
Yep.
All righty. Let's move on to Joey and Michael. I'm really not enjoying Michael.
He is stupider with each episode. Mary Payne, I swear to God, when he was reading and he was using his fingers to point out no.
Oh, I didn't see that. On the phone he was doing that?
I think he was reading like the paper with the restrictions or the rules or something for that. And he's reading it and he's having to, first grade teacher with a ruler, go to each word to read them. He's just a horn dog. That is all that he is.
Yeah.
He's not meant for a normal life.
He graduated high school and he was in the Navy, so he's not completely dumb. I mean, but
he chooses to be like this.
Yeah. Yes.
He's just nasty.
So, 1 hour out of prison. He's talking about how they reset his phone. He's like, I'm an adult and I can do what I want. I'm not a kid. I don't need to follow all these rules. It's 1 hour and he's already acting like this. 1 hour. So they go to eat and they keep looking at the rules, like you said, from that manila envelope and manila, not Nilla. That's a Nilla wafer. Sorry.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to go to this parole meeting immediately, like go directly from the prison to your parole. And Michael goes, it's okay if we go eat and then we go to the hotel. It doesn't matter. And Joey goes, no, you need to check in. Like you have to follow these rules. Like I'm not going to be the one getting you in trouble. The talking head, Joey goes, the bottom line is Michael is not an honest person. He lies a lot. He lies easily. It's nothing for him to lie. And this could be his last chance if he doesn't shape up. He's going to be facing serious jail time. I mean, we know that he's on the like strike 3 and you're out sitch.
Yeah, there would have to be a miracle that happens for him not to go back to prison.
I agree. I definitely do.
If he's not back there now.
Yeah, I think by the end of whatever the season is, he's back in. Joey's going to get that call.
Can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you're admitting to yourself and to all of us that he's a liar. Well, who the fuck wants to be with a liar?
Yeah. Can you imagine? I was like, my husband, he's a liar. He's such a great guy.
That's what he does.
Just a liar.
Employee of the month for being the best liar.
That's just what he does. That's just part of his shtick.
And we all accept it and love him.
It's so fun. Okay. Michael is able to pull up his apps and his messages. I have to imagine it's like DMs or Snapchat or something. And so he starts going through all his messages and he's naming all the guys. He's like, oh, there's Luke and there's Bob and there's Chad and there's Fred. It's so funny. And the producer goes, do you have any friends that you haven't banged? And he goes, yeah. Uh-huh. Well, yeah, there's a few. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Nobody believes you.
It was the lesbian friend that he didn't bang.
Yes, I
didn't touch her.
I got Courtney. I got Lisa. Yeah,
I didn't touch those gals. Just he's the worst.
Talking to Joey goes, yeah, Michael doesn't really know, and I don't really know his body count, and I don't think I want to know. But I don't want him to see a lot of these guys that he's naming off from his phone.
Of course not.
So Michael's reading the messages and he goes, oh, one of my friends is so funny. He said, all the bottoms are going to be so happy that Michael is out. And Joey goes, okay, great. Wonderful.
Oh, boy.
And Joey goes, it's 2:00. You've been out since 9 a.m. and we haven't gone by the parole office. Like, we have got to go. I am so nervous.
And you can Joey's eyes be bulging anymore? Like he is a nervous wreck right now.
He is so worried about this.
Yes. And Michael could care less.
He's just like, what? This is what I do. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I just like, let me live.
Yeah.
So talking to him, Michael goes, oh, Joey is so snappy and so worried. I've done it so many times. Like, I know what to do. It's fine. It doesn't really matter when you check in.
Okay.
So he goes into a parole board and it's an hour later. He comes out. He goes, it went fine. I met with the district manager who gave me the phone number for my PO, but that halfway house is expecting me by 4. Now at 2:00, we know that he went to this meeting and he was in there for an hour. So it's 3. He's got to get to the halfway house by 4. He has 1 hour.
Okay. Well,
so
within an hour driving distance,
we're fine.
He's fine.
But he didn't care. He didn't care if they only have 1 hour. He's literally pushing everything to the last minute.
Yeah.
So they go to this Rising Sun sober living facility. It looks nice. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I've been to this one before. This is familiar to me. Yeah, I've been here. Yeah, I've been here before. He goes, let's see, last time I was here, I think I left that first night. And then after the 3rd day, they just kicked me out. So yeah, I've been here before.
Oh, sweet memories.
So they meet the general manager of the house. It's like a general manager and then like a house manager. It's 2 guys. They meet the general manager. And Joey goes, I've been here before. Yeah. And the guy's like, all right. He goes, what's your drug of choice? He says, meth. And the guy's like, okay, taking notes.
Yeah.
And he says, and Joey says, talking head to the producer, he goes, he's got to be in that house for 6 months. He has to be in there for 6 months, proving he can do day to day what they ask him to do before we can be together, before we can even think about living together or anything. He's got to prove himself 6 months in the halfway house.
He's trying to figure out which one of those 2 guys he's going to fuck tonight.
He's like, oh, so they go, we have a single room available if you want to look at that. He goes, oh yeah. Cause he thinks that sounds like a good idea because he doesn't have to have a roommate that's some sort of crazy straight guy that doesn't want to bang him. So they go and look at the single room and it's small, but it's got its own, its little bed or whatever. And they show
him prison.
he can come in and out the door on his own will.
Exactly.
Go to the kitchen.
Yeah.
So they show him the sign in and out board. Okay, we gotta, when you come in for the night, you gotta sign in here, and if you're late, you're gonna have to do the urine test or whatever. They talk about the curfew. They talk about the urinalysis if he's out of bounds or whatever. And then they're talking to Michael goes, I don't even know why they were telling me all that. I'm not staying there long. And then talking head Joey
didn't
goes,
even try.
He didn't even care. He's like, that's hilarious that they think I'm going to stay there. And Joey goes, yeah, you know what? It's okay. That place is okay. It's better than I thought it would be. Like he had his own room. And then Michael's like, dude, it's a scam. That's a scam. They just want people to move there to get more money. Hearing all that nonsense about like, here's your bed and check in and check out. That just really got under my skin. And Joey's like,
because there are rules.
And Joey's like, what? He goes, you just don't like to be told what to do. He goes, no, I'm not going to do any of it. I'm not going to do any of it.
Okay. And at that point, Joey should just say, you know what?
It's not going to work.
Way too much for me. You don't even want to try. So this is where we say goodbye.
Yeah. I'm going to leave you at the halfway house. Here's your stuff.
Yep.
You got your phone. You got your numbers. Bye-bye.
Yep.
So in the talking head, Joey is crying and he goes, I always feel like I'm making excuses for him and I'm overwhelmed. And remember a couple episodes ago, he's like, I'm not going to make excuses for him. And Joey's in recovery too. So he knows what Michael is doing.
Yes.
He says, I want him so bad to do the right thing, but I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do this, not following the rules, like refusing, everything, refusing everything. I can't make him do the right thing. I can't make him want to do the right thing, but I love the guy.
Well, you know what? Sometimes love ain't enough. And this is one of those cases. You know what I mean? And I think he's a little bit digmatized as well.
Yeah, but he's remembering Dick from like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Methed out Dick, no less.
That's true. Well, he's going to be back on meth by tonight anyway. So
that's true.
He'll have the meth Dick once again. So
that's right. Oh,
yeah.
God, we want the best for Joey. He's so sweet. Mm-hmm. He's so sweet. All righty. Well, we can move on to Ashley, Julius, and Alexis. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that I've seen like Julia saying stuff about Ashley being fat on Instagram and stuff. And then she's posting like all this stuff like, y'all don't even know what he said to me, and then posting their text exchanges. And
it's been a whole hot mess. And I also don't like something that she does. And like on my show, I always say the reality TV reason for a breakup. Mm-hmm. Whenever the guy breaks up with the girl immediately says, it's because he's gay. And that's the case that she's done with him. We just had the same thing this week with Bradley and Savannah. That was a big thing. I'm like, dude, you kind of catfished the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
The guy is a jerk. He's immature. He saw you. You don't look like what you said you look like.
Picture to picture, you don't look like the same person.
No, you've had us confused. You know what I mean? So he's immature. I think they both have said like stupid, ugly things to one another, but he's never called her fat. Like I thought that he did, but he alluded to it.
Yeah.
But he also said she looked nothing like how I thought that she looked.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't look anything like this picture, so that's true.
No.
All right. So Alexis and Julius are together. It's one day out of prison, and they're both like, last night was great. Mm-hmm. And in his talking head, he goes, yeah, it's been 6 years since I was with a woman. And no. We didn't use protection. Pull-out game is strong. And we know she's pregnant or had a baby. They never think about the
diseases. They always think pregnancy. No, what about diseases? Like,
yeah.
I don't know what you've been doing, and you don't know what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's true. So he says today he's going to go see his family, his mother and his sisters. And he reminds us that in 6 years, his mother and his sisters never came to see him. And he goes on, it's very sad. He says, I never thought I would even talk to them again, ever.
That's sad. And it sounds like they didn't help him out when he was in prison, like making sure he had what he needed. Well, and here's the thing. On the flip side, that could be tough love for some people. Like, this is what you did. You need to suffer the consequences, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that conversation was had. I think they just fucking didn't do it. And
they just ghosted them completely.
Yeah.
So in the talking head, Alexis says, I have a good relationship with this family. I've been friends with his sister for 10 plus years. And we see her like at the sister's baby shower and stuff.
Right.
And she says, and I don't, no matter what happens with his family, I'm always going to, stand up for my man. And I'll stand up for him. And I, wouldn't be on the family side, whatever. So in talking head, he says, oh God, Ashley, she was sending me lingerie pics. I mean, she looked all right. But Alexis looks better. So, but I'm gonna try and go and see her. I
still gotta test it out.
I gotta sneak around. I gotta sneak around, keep them both in the dark. I gotta sneak around. So in talking head, Ashley, we see her hotel room is just like destroyed, and she says,
it looks like he came over.
It looks like he came over, but it's just her and her friends up in there. And she said, my friends and I had a fun night, and it's my fucking birthday, and he's going to ruin it. And, he's not living up to anything he said he would do. And he hadn't even texted me for my birthday yet. Like, what is he doing?
So I looked on her page, and it says that, is she like psychic? She's like a tarot card reader.
Oh, okay.
And some other things. And I find it so funny that she believes in all that stuff. Yet she continuously manifests him ruining her birthday. She has said this like 5 different times.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you kept putting it out there in the universe. He's going to ruin your birthday. So of course he's going to ruin your birthday. Do better, point. Ashley.
So Julius is in the car with Alexis on the way to the picnic or whatever, and he calls his dad Calvin, and he says, my dad wasn't around much. He went to prison when I was young, and we didn't have a great relationship, but I guess, they're friendly now or whatever. And Dad's like, you got to stay on your game. You got to make amends. Basically your mom and them are crazy, but you still got to, make amends.
That's
and all
your family.
That.
Yeah.
So they arrive to this park, and we see his mom, whose name is Holly, and we see his sister is Lene, Jalen, and Naja. I'm going to go with Naja. Yeah. So
it was Naja, Naja.
Yeah, Naja. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. Sounds too much like Naja. So, because I was thinking like Naja, but that has
I think it's Naja.
Naja. Okay. Lene, Jalen, and Naja. So they all talk about how they didn't see him. They didn't see him.
They really all look guilty.
Yeah.
You can tell as soon as they saw him, they all felt like shit. Like, oh man, we really let 6 years go by without checking on this dude. Like,
yeah, and they can't believe how tall he is. So he probably grew a couple inches.
Well, he grew.
Yeah,
yeah,
crazy. And he tells us like, yeah, I mean, nobody made any effort to come see me. And he goes, if that was me, like I'd do anything for my family. I would do anything to go see them to make sure they had what they needed, and none of them did any of it.
That's
so.
Bad.
And the talking head mom goes, yeah, I never went to see him in prison because I lost my license, but I'm so happy to see him now. And Naja says, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't come see you. And I hope you can forgive me because that was wrong of me. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that you have Alexis. She's so wonderful. She's such a light. And I'm so glad the two of you are together. And Alexis kind of cries about that.
My thing is, if you think so highly of Alexis, why would you put her with your prisoner brother
who you don't even care enough about to make sure he has money or go visit? And it seems like
answer all the calls, as according to him.
Yeah, pretty close by. Is only like within the hour driving.
Yeah, that's really just. Ugh.
So in the talking head, Naja says, when he was in prison, we didn't always get along. I was a single mom, and he always needed or wanted stuff from me, and I just didn't, give it any mind. And I'm happy we're going to move forward and we can maybe rebuild the relationship. So maybe it's like she was going through her own shit and she was a single mom, and he's calling from prison like, can you put $10 on my books? Can you give me this? I got to get this. And she's probably like, I can't even like afford to handle my own kid, and I'm working, and no, and I'm not going to send you. You got yourself in there,
Yeah.
So then mom says, like, I'm so happy to see you. You're so tall. And she says, I'm sorry I didn't see you when you were in prison. I lost my license. I was drinking a lot. And, also I was kind of going nuts because my baby was gone.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. The mom's full of shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just say she was drinking. She was partying. She was, living it up. Yeah. And she may be, she looks like she's about that life. You know what I mean? Like she looks like she's been out there. But again, you can see the guilt on her face because you could have had someone drive you to the prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you lose your license for 6 years?
Right. And so, she goes, I wasn't the best mom. We had the struggles, and I had my struggles with, drinking. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that's right, Mom. I know you. We've had it hard. We had our struggles. And she says, well, a lot of your problems are partly my fault for being such a terrible mother. So at least she owned that,
Yeah.
Talking Eddie says, my mom drank a lot. It was real hard growing up seeing your mother like that. It was really rough. And
so it sounds like she was an alcoholic.
Alcoholic growing up. And it seems like even since he went to prison, she's maybe better now, but it's hard to tell.
Maybe. Yeah.
And he says, it was very good to see my mom, and maybe we can all just like leave that bad energy in the past. I'm gonna tell you something. You're not going to get over that nobody in your family came to see you for 6 years.
Because every time one of them like blinks the wrong way, you're gonna be like, "That's why is that why they fucking come see me while I was in?" It's always going to come up, and I seriously doubt they're all gonna go to family therapy.
No. Mm-mm. So the sisters say, two of the sisters are there, and they say, "Look, we think Alexis is really a good person, and we hope it works out because we've never known him to be a player with women and stuff. We never known him to be like that, but he's a really private person, so we don't know what he's doing." So,
Wait, hold on.
According to him, he's always been a player.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been private because he's been in prison, locked up. The epitome of privacy. Of course, your family doesn't know what's going on with you.
Yeah,
and then you don't see him for 6 years. So
he went in at 19.
He was a kid.
Yeah, he's a child.
Yeah.
So he gets in the car with Alexis, and we see him texting, with Ashley, and he's like, Tyler. He just really hit me up. Now, is Tyler the toothless wonder that's over there on that Facebook group? And it says like something something entitled The Prophet or something is his Enlightened the Prophet. That's his name over there on that Facebook group.
I'm not sure if that's Tyler. I think this is Tyler's brother because he looks like he collects silver and gold by bridges to let people cross. That's what he looks like to me.
It's either Tyler or Jordan, one of those two.
I feel like Tyler was the one who actually drove to pick him up.
Tyler was the first one. Tyler was the first one we saw, and Jordan was the toothless wonder that showed up
with the hat on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And he is the one he was talking. He's like, I know y'all talking about my teeth and wondering how I can eat those ribs at that ribs place, but it was free. I was going to eat it. I don't care if y'all saw my teeth. I was like, all right, well, at least just acknowledging your teeth.
He didn't have a choice.
At least JK is hiding them from us. Yeah.
He did not hide anything from us at all.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
So he's texting. He's like, Tyler's really hitting me up. He's like, wondering why I hadn't seen him and stuff. And she goes, you just saw him yesterday. And so they're sitting on the couch and they're both talking about how tired they are. And that was like a good meeting with the family. And he goes, I got to call Tyler. So he hops up and he's literally like an arm's distance away on the balcony talking to this girl on speaker.
I don't get it.
And she goes, that seems sus. So he goes outside, he calls Ashley and she picks up. She's like, babe, it's already like 5:00. And he says, I'm on my way to you right now. I'm coming right now. It's going to be 15 minutes. So she's like, oh my God, I got to do my makeup. Yes. So she's in there like spackling on her face. And
because she's got to be casket ready. Her makeup is casket ready every time.
So he leaves. He goes, I got to call an Uber. I'm going to go see Tyler. And I'll be back. I'll be gone like an hour. And so Alexis is like, it's very suspect. And he just, okay. Yeah. Well, if she was smart, since she gave him that phone, she would have had a tracker on it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm not going to be sitting over here like I'm boo-boo the fool because you're on a mechanism that I bought and paid for. Uh-huh. No. Let me see it, hand it over. Yeah, that makes no sense.
All she had to do was put the parental controls on there with the password that she created. So he couldn't take those parental controls off it would take him weeks to figure that out.
Well, also, if Tyler wanted to see him so badly, he could have come to the family picnic, considering he's supposed to be his brother-in-law.
True, except for we know that's not right.
That's not true.
Lene looked way too smart to mess with somebody like Tyler. By the way, all the sisters looked too smart.
Yeah, but
you never know.
Looking pretty and looking smart does not equal intelligence.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, and the talking Eddie goes, yeah, sex with Alexis was great. But you know what I miss being in prison is having a choice. I got to have a choice. So we see her. She's got her wig on, and she's got on a kind of a cute dress, and she is eating jerky, talking about how eating jerky is really good if you're nervous. And then she goes, I don't know. I'm so nervous to see him. What if his breath stinks? What if he's not as tall as he said he was? What if he has a pencil dick? Woo. And then the knock on the door, and she screams, Joey! And she screams so loud and runs and looks through the peephole. I was like, you looking through the peephole when you got a whole, you got a camera crew in this hotel room with you.
Yeah, a jerky breath. Like while you're worried about his breath, you're sitting there chomping on. Now, I love beef jerky, but I'm not going to chomp on a bag of beef jerky before meeting this guy who I'm so in love with.
I thought that was a choice. That was a choice.
It was a choice.
It was a choice. And that's it. We don't see Savannah and Bradley this week. But next week on, Joella does come. Excuse me. Joella comes to the family barbecue. I have to assume she's bringing the kids.
Yeah.
Kiana is not happy.
Yeah.
Michael says, oh, Joey, he's just drama. Because he's like, I got to get you back to this house at a certain time. And it's like $20 an hour every time you're late.
Every time you, yeah. And who's going to be giving him that money? Joey.
Right. Not his job he's got for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Courtney tells Will, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I could be arrested today. So that could be the same thing as like when she enters the parole building, they could say, now you've entered the prison system. So you're arrested for something you did before.
Right.
Anyway, we've seen that happen. Some other girl at the coming home party for Bradley says, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Savannah. Nah.
Okay.
We don't know who she is. We don't know
if that's a sister or friend.
We don't know. We see Brooke and JK fight. So obviously he came out of that parole office. We see them fight, and she says, bye, Felicia. And he says, fuck you. So things are going great. The two of them.
Yeah. They too.
Ashley cries and says, Julius is fake and he is lying about everything. And then we see him going down the stairs of the hotel. She still had her dress on, so he didn't bang her, I don't think.
No, because I want to say on one of her posts, she was saying like, oh, you need to tell the people how much you were begging to stay there with me. You just kept begging, but I made you leave. So who knows what the truth is between these two.
I did see a text exchange that one of them posted where he was like, why are you out here like breaking your NDA and all this stuff?
I saw that too.
He said, you're going to get a $50,000 fine. I was like, now come on now.
It's just We TV. But she shouldn't be doing that though.
No. Yeah, I mean, they always ruin it for us. And then we got Enlightened the creator, Enlightened the God, or whoever that Tyler guy is out there, Jordan out there on that Facebook group. Like, ask me any questions. Just
like, dude, you're not the star of the show. Like, if you knew anything, you're the type of person you would have already have spilt it already. So, no, we don't have any questions for you. No.
Now, what did you say about Savannah has come out and said Bradley's gay? Is that what you said?
So, apparently they broke up. And she and sister Alyssa are on live, and someone asked about Bradley, and she's like, nope, we're not together. And then she's like, something like, should I say it? Should I not? And basically says he's gay. His sister's there kind of co-signing everything.
Oh, so they're friends again because they're
friends again.
Okay, because Alyssa was out there saying that Savannah was fully on drugs.
I remember. Yep.
And now they're friends again.
They are toxic, the both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see that Chris and Wah, and I think I tagged you in that post, Chris and Wah, our friends from DocuSweeties, posted just like a reel from their episode, and it was all about Alyssa's eyebrows.
Yeah, there's something.
And I said, they were like, those eyebrows scream drug user.
They do. They do.
And I was like, Keisha's more concerned about that forehead situation.
It frightens me at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to see her on like some plastic surgery fucking show where they're trying to staple her forehead back together because it just ripped all of a sudden.
Bless her.
It's thin. Yeah, it's thin.
Well, that will be interesting to see what happens with them next week. I do like that some of these people are having coming home parties. That's nice. That's nice.
I will say this is a pretty good season so far.
So far. Yeah. So far it hasn't been just so fake or so stupid, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, Keisha, what are you going to be talking about this week on the Libra Lounge with Keisha? Keisha's podcast, everybody.
So I'm actually going to be interviewing Stacey Keenan.
Yes.
Yes. And I know that you're going to be super excited about this, but I'll have a 1,000-Pound Sister recap because the season premiere happens this week.
Oh, we're going to get that camel bite. We're going to get that camel bite.
Get that camel bite. Yes. Man, I wonder if I have time to get a camel shirt made so I can wear it, take a picture to advertise for that episode.
Yeah, I'm sure you could get a camel shirt on like Camel cigarettes, like the camel. I bet you could get that on like Amazon or something.
And I want to get justice for the camel.
Well, if you're going to get,
I'm going to need that personalized.
If you can get specific with it, then probably not.
Yeah.
And they're probably not going to show you that camel bite on the first episode anyway.
Probably not. I mean, we've already seen it. So, I mean, yeah.
Drag it out to the end. Everybody, this week I've got Mandy Slutzker coming on Talk Pop and Bravo. I've got my friend Larison Campbell on as a bonus episode, I think Wednesday or Friday. I'm not sure what Ingrid's doing with that. But she has a podcast called Under the Yazoo Clay. It's really good. She also had Devil in the Ditch. She had Dr. Miracle. She is a podcaster friend of mine from Mississippi. She lives in New York. But anyway, she's very interesting. I interviewed her this week. That'll be a bonus episode. Got Mandy Slutzker, Pop and Bravo. Already said that. And we've got the season finale of The Baldwins. Kimberly and I talking about that. It's so good. It's so good. And that's what's going on this week. And this Thursday, I'll be heading to Vegas to the Sphere to see the Grateful Dead for 3 shows, but I'm recording from there. So you guys will not be missing any episodes.
All right. Can't wait.
The week after that is when I'm in Paris, and that's when you guys are doing the monkey takeovers. And I appreciate that.
We're already making plans for the monkey takeover. I'm just kidding.
I always got to listen back and see how much shit you talk about me on my own podcast.
And we're so well behaved.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. That's it, everybody. And Keisha, thanks for recording with me late.
No problem.
And everybody go over and watch the YouTube live, A Date with K and K. You can find that. That's Kimberly and Katie's YouTube live where they talk about Yellow Jackets. And Keisha was on and Amy and Amanda were on. And I can't wait to watch it because I just watched Yellow Jackets.
And I TikToked. You'd be so proud of me. I actually posted on TikTok.
Is that just Libra Lounge with Keisha on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to go look for that too.
I sure did.
Look at you, girl.
I know. I was like, I'm
jumping
just gonna
in.
do it. I said, I'm just going to do it. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. So,
yeah. I'm so proud of you.
Join me.
Join her over on the TikTok and follow both of us on Instagram. I'm at Pink Shade Pod and Keisha is the Libra Lounge with Keisha.
Yep. That's us.
That's it. I will talk to you next week. Bye. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.